All right, now let's get
The
to
race.
The View. Kamala is, why haven't you called any of these governors previously in previous disasters, but you're calling now? That's where Ron DeSantis is presenting. And it's a shitty fucking, it's a shitty thing. It's like, yeah, I'm running for fucking president, dog. And I'm the vice president. Obviously, I'm going to be handling these responsibilities if I do win. So currently, as it stands, I'm going to show you how I would do it if given the opportunity. That's it. That is the fucking answer
First, let
here.
me.
I don't really care. All right, let's continue. Harris addresses the border crisis uh, and reacts to Trump's campaign rhetoric, and then we'll talk about the worst part of the interview in a brief moment. The part of the interview that made me want to "I'm Brian, kill me." Okay, this part. Hasan, she's never mentioned the Cheneys before ever. This is a revelation and should be what moves you to vote. If not Liz Cheney, then who? Wait, you're joking, right? Okay, Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler is saying that, Trump is a terrifying figure. Please tell me you're joking. There's no way, right? You're joking. Oh, thank God. Because I thought you were either being serious or trying to do a two-parter at the top of the hour, and those are banned, and I didn't want to ban you. Thank you for saying you're joking. Oh my God. I genuinely don't know anymore because like some liberals unironically do say that. Some liberals do say that, chat. I've heard that. I have heard that. You should be motivated to go out and vote. Like even Liz Cheney understands the damage. Even Dick Cheney understands the damage Trump represents. Is what a lot of people do say. So I can't tell, but what I can tell is that at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break and two-parter debates are banned, so don't try it on me. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. By the way, Kamala Harris's support among Republicans almost doubles in the New York Times Siena poll, and you hope that this means that like Republicans in swing states are going to vote for her. That's not what this means at all. So like her support going from, I don't know, fucking what is it, 9%? What is up from 5% to 9% among Republicans who plan to vote for her does not mean that it's the Republicans in fucking Pennsylvania that are saying that they're going to vote for her. This does not mean that Republicans in motherfucking swing states are going to be voting for her. Okay? Republicans plan to back the Democratic candidate out of likely voters went from 5% up from 5% in the last New York Times Siena poll a month earlier. By contrast, just 3% of Democratic identifying voters say they will vote for Donald Trump. This doesn't, like, you're playing fast and loose and misinforming the public. The poll came with a 2.4 margin of error. Notably, Harris could win the popular vote and still lose to Trump, thanks to the Electoral College. Dick Cheney being the coalition is a very specific response to the threat of Donald Trump. Cheney is doing what a lot of my friends are doing, what I'm doing, said David Frum, another never Trump Republican. We're not going to like 80% of the domestic agenda of the Harris administration. We're going to swallow that with our eyes open. What has she presented that you don't like? But we really love the foreign policies. From added, I do think we're living through the moment when the parties changed who their voters are. We're seeing a certain type of voter with a lot to lose migrating into the Democratic coalition because it offers stability in a certain kind of voter with less to lose and more alienation migrating out of the Democratic coalition because they don't feel attached enough to the society and are excited by the Republican promise to take more risks with America. I think it's like a ship that's sinking, okay? It's a ship that is sinking, and these guys are worried about plugging one of the smallest holes possible, okay? You're taking Democratic voters, like regular Democratic constituencies, for granted in an even worse way than the Joe Biden reelection campaign did. And it's even more dangerous because Kamala Harris is a black woman. So the assumption that just by being a black woman, you're going to take for granted a lot of young voters, a lot of black and brown voters across the board is not a good strategy. Okay? Not, this is one of the main reasons why I'm committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House. On Monday, betting platform Polymarket gave Trump a 53.3% chance of securing the presidency. On Colbert, Harris drank a Miller High Life. The current and last president don't drink. She referred to her rallies. Quite a few people don't show up, by the way, and then described Trump as a loser. She added, "This is what happens when I drink beer." Wow. So cool. Kamala Harris has to make up for her lack of charisma with sound policies that actually help people. Just be like, this is where people are hurting. This is how I'm going to help them. She's doing neither. She doesn't have the charisma to push a, regular old boring neoliberal campaign. Neither did Hillary Clinton, mind you. Okay? And she also doesn't even have good policies that she can point to be like, this is what I'm going to do to help Americans that are suffering. It's just a terrible. It's called being hot as fuck. I mean, she is. She's attractive, but that's not enough. She comes across like a fucking robot every time she says the exact same words over and over again. She literally force feeds the talking point into whatever question. It's like her brain hears like keywords. It's like a fucking AI. Her brain hears keywords and goes, I prosecuted transnational gangs in a border state. We will stop the flood of migrants. Donald Trump does not care about the problem. Every time. They could be like, ma'am, Madam Vice President, we were asking about the United Fruit Workers Union or something. You know what I mean? Like, why are you, what? Being like, the Border Patrol supported it, when like you ask the Border Patrol now and they're like, yeah, it sucks. It's actually gay communism. They want to vaccinate all the border guards. They want to kill the Border Patrol with this bill. We don't want it. Like, they don't care. No, they did. They did support it. They did support it early on because it was a very right-wing bill. And then Donald Trump did say, nah, fuck this. Kill the bill. What are you doing? Are you kidding me? But that doesn't change the reality. That doesn't change the reality that it was a right-wing bill. And the Border Patrol is absolutely going to go along with whatever the fuck Trump says. That's why it's a stupid fucking decision. That's why this argument is fucking idiotic. I'm on board with calling her robotic, but I've started to feel the same about Bernie too. I think it's just what happens when people run campaigns. No, there's a difference between messaging discipline and literally fucking... When Bernie Sanders stays on message, he is communicating actively direct policy prescriptions for problems that American people are facing. When Kamala Harris is saying, I prosecuted transnational gangs and I want to pass the most right-wing border bill, it's the wrong message that she is staying on. Okay? It's literally inauthentic. She's also using the same exact language. Like, it goes beyond messaging discipline when you basically say the exact same thing over and over again. You repeat it whenever something like triggers that talking point. It's the same phrases, it's the same exact message. The message is already bad too on top of that, and it's often devoid of policy, or when it has policy, it's like fucking right-wing policy. It's really bad. It makes you come across as inauthentic. Bernie Sanders stays on message, but think about the conversation that she had with Theo Vaughn. Now think about the conversation that Kamala Harris would have with Theo Vaughn. She would literally turn around and be like, I've prosecuted transnational border gangs. Like, that's insane. Just be fucking normal, dude. Address the question. It's insane. How can you not tell that after a certain point, this turns into like inauthentic pandering? Yeah, I mean, here, that's a great example as well. I repeat myself 1,000,000 times throughout the day sometimes, but I'm directly responding to that person usually. I'm not like slotting in certain key talking points. Or even if I'm slotting talking points, I'm not using the exact same phrase over and over again. The exact same phrases over and over again. This is good. This is not bad. It's good policy. Remember when I said Kamala Harris could make up for her lack of charisma with at least like with sound policy that addresses people's problems? I was wrong. She's not doing a good job communicating that. But I mean, at least it's new and it's good. So that's good. But I was wrong. I don't think that I think maybe she should be doing a pre-canned speech here, okay? I take it back. I take back what I said. Have a pre-cooked NPC talking point for this one so you can deliver it with the same confidence that you deliver the transnational gangs line and be like prepared, you know what I mean? Cuz it's a good policy. Like expanding Medicare for in-home coverage is not a bad thing. Okay? But anytime she falls out of line, anytime she falls out of like the pre-canned speech that she has pre-designated, she just comes across as very anxious when she's delivering it. It's fine. I'll still ride for policies like this. Ultimately, any kind of Medicare expansion is a good thing, and offsetting the costs by allowing the federal government to negotiate pharmaceutical prices doubly good, okay? It doesn't even need to be one and the other. It can be either or. Both are good. Both are good. I just wish that she had a little bit more oomph when she's talking about this kind of stuff. People in recent polls say Harris is too liberal progressive, and that includes 49% of independents. Only 9% say not progressive enough. How could she package progressive policy in a way to avoid this perception? Sorry, last time I'm going to try to ask. Great question. The answer is you're not going to like it. But the answer is Americans are fucking stupid, okay? That's it. They're fucking stupid. That's precisely the reason why 60% of Americans want fucking mass deportation, but then simultaneously when they get something similar to mass deportation, they go, "Oh my God, I hate this. Who could have foreseen how fucking devastating this is?" It's all about fucking messaging. And they did a very good job by not saying that they are going to institute fucking price caps, but instead they're going to tackle price gougers. They're going to fight price gougers in the grocery sector. Okay? That is one of her most popular policies thus far. It polls at 83%, has an 83% approval rating. That is the most significant, one of the most radical things that an American presidential candidate has put forward. They messaged that correctly. They did a great job with that messaging. And regardless of how much the Republican Party tried to tackle it by saying this is vuvuzela, this is communism, this is, all this, it still doesn't change that reality. Okay? Yeah. Net support for federal law limiting how much companies can raise the price of food and groceries, plus 15%. A federal law establishing price control in food and groceries, minus 10%. I try to tell you guys this all the fucking time. It's just straight up. It is simply about recognizing the harm that people are experiencing and then saying, we're going to help you. That's it. They said the same thing about Tim Walz. Tim Walz's policies, for example, are considered radical. Paid family leave, how dare you? Expanding the social safety nets in significant ways is considered unimaginably progressive in this country. American voters vote for instituting fucking seizing the means of production for the working class if it's not associated with the Democratic Party, if it's a faceless, lifeless fucking ballot measure. Okay? Never forget that. On principle, you can move the needle by referendum on unimaginably progressive ballot measures. That's precisely the reason why so many Republicans refuse to expand Medicaid coverage in red states. And people had to fight tooth and nail for it on the ground to expand Medicaid through ballot measures. Okay? Just because Americans also stupidly think like Kamala Harris is too liberal does not change the reality that if she was actively communicating desirable policies that will help solve some of the issues that Americans are facing, okay, and just kept repeating it and over again. And whenever people said this is too radical, this is too progressive, she said, what is radical or progressive about helping Americans? I think you're the radical one for consistently fighting tooth and nail to stop any kind of fucking measure that helps American citizens. You're the radical one. You never do this for the fucking wealthy. That would immediately deflate any kind of fucking counter. So stop pointing to fucking dumbass polls like that to be like, oh, Americans fancy her to be too radical. Americans don't know anything, okay? They're fucking stupid. Do you get it? I agree. Thanks for that. It kind of makes me think of what's happening in Nebraska with their independent candidate. There are so many examples. There are so many fucking examples of shit that Americans are on board with, as long as you don't fucking say this is a progressive socialist policy. That's it. Yeah, a huge part of the too liberal characterization is just race and gender, which is pretty funny because she doesn't even fucking make an effort to say anything about race or gender. The issue is she's a black woman. That's where it comes from as well. You're absolutely correct on this. Like 100%. They go, oh, Kamala Harris is a black woman. She's too liberal. It's a cycle of neglect leading to poor education, which leads to being stupid and ignorant, which allows neglect to fester. Yes. Why did Hillary ever think people would vote for her? Because she's a woman, people hate women. Because she's a white woman in like elite liberal circles where there's a lot of pandering to that sort of thing, like white feminism festers in these environments, and it led her to have a false sense of security and comfort in that position. But Kamala Harris is black, okay? And you can tell she's black by the fact that she never brings up the fact that she's a black woman. Because black people know it doesn't work that way. You can't just be like, I'm black, vote for me, your way into office. That's how you know she's a black woman, by the way, regardless of what fucking Trump says or whatever any dumb racist person says. One other thing, how does Trump get away with only 32% saying he's too conservative? That's a bit shocking to me. He portrayed himself as a centrist the first time. It's because Trump is charismatic. Not charismatic to us, but charismatic to a lot of fucking dumbasses. And there's a lot of them, even in the Democratic Party, even in the independent side of things. And when you consider someone to be charismatic, you make up policies for them in your mind. You don't actually listen to what they're saying. You just imagine that they will end up doing whatever you think they're going to do, whatever you think is best for you. A great example of this right now is with like a lot of fucking straight up anti-Semitic Nazis who still think that Donald Trump is going to fucking like destroy Israel or some shit, okay? Or at the very least, they just cope Max into believing that he's just simply putting on the kippah and saying that he wants Israel to annex the West Bank because he just has to do that. He has to pay the piper, but he's not going to do that at the end of the day, even though he fucking literally did do that. Okay? Like they just cope. They like him. They like his other policies, so they just make up shit. I did see the bitch ass pussy Biden excoriated Netanyahu on Israel's conduct in the war. Bob Woodward's new book says. The book War lays bare just how frustrated the president has become with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu since the war in Gaza began. I love this because it's like, dude, you gave him $18 billion. You gave him $18 billion. Like, what is wrong with you? Oh, man, he makes me so mad. I'm going to punish him by giving him more unlimited weapons transfers. Oh, I'm so fucking mad at him. Here's another $20 billion fucking dollars, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Biden's a pain pig. Yes. No, Biden's doing FinDom. Yo. He's not a pain pig. He's a pay pig, dude. Biden is fucking FinDom. Oh, I hate it. Oh, tell me more about how much more money you want from me. Oh, I hate it. Hasan, are you going to watch Dershowitz and hijab debate on Piers Morgan? No, I'm not going to watch that. I don't care. Oh, the Macron-Netanyahu one? The French leader said countries should stop supplying weapons to Israel, arguing that providing arms while demanding a ceasefire is inconsistent. That drew the Israeli leader's fury. I don't understand. France hardly sells any weapons to Israel, which receives over 90% of its arms shipments from the United States and Germany. Anyway, France has little leverage over U.S. arms shipments. Oh, wow. The 90,000th Fumin Biden non-story that has zero material impact on the arming of the Israeli genocide in Gaza. Hard-hitting reporting here. Definitely not part of the year-long effort to curate leaks and distance Biden from the carnage on people's timelines. Yeah, he's a fucking liar. Bibi, what the fuck? Cliff notes, Macron said he would stop sending weapons to Israel. Netanyahu then called Macron anti-Semitic, which led to a sharp improvement in Macron's approval ratings in France. They're like, wait a minute, you said he's anti-Semitic? Wait, I made a mistake. Maybe he is good leader. Oh, oui, oui. And then Macron reversed position and said they would continue to send weapons to Israel. Meanwhile, he doesn't even send that many weapons to Israel. 18 billion. 18 billion despite hating. A lot of people are criticizing Biden for sending 18 billion to Israel despite hating Bibi, not realizing that he's actually a pay pig and likes being fin-domed. I know a lot is separate, man. Shut up. Oh my God. I know. Usually I like to fucking shorten shit, so I keep it under the word count. What the fuck? I didn't know this dude was fucking insane. Michael Rappaport? Yeah, he's out of his dang mind. That's from September. Yeah, I know. I retweeted this. He gave that fucking liar $8 billion in arms a week ago. If this animates you, I could convince you the world will end in 5 minutes unless you blow me on the spot right now. Please don't give the dude views or even your time. Wait, what? Biden? You're right. I probably should not be platforming Joseph Robinette Brandon. Anyway, let's get to the worst part of this fucking Kamala Harris interview, which I've been avoiding for obvious reasons. It's because it's going to cause you spiritual psychic damage in the same way that it caused me spiritual and psychic damage. Let's take a look at what she had to say. Ew. Gross. Ew. She's like, Madam Vice President, there's a lot of historically unpopular policies. There are a lot of historically unpopular policies of the current administration that you're a part of, which unironically led to you now running for president in this historically relevant manner. What do you say to the voters that are looking for change? 65% of them specifically have asked for change. Oh, I'm going to be just like Biden, except I'm also going to have a Republican in my cabinet. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Who is Disney? Zelensky. That's what Felix calls him, and it's like been stuck in my mind. Donald Trump went on Ben Shabibo. Oh, he is desperate, dude. He is fucking desperate, dude. God damn, this shit didn't even do numbers. 7 hours, 300,000 views. Fuck, that's lame.